You always need the best to bring the best out in you. So I was always fortunate to have to know that I was going to play against William Felton Russell. He'd come past my house on Thanksgiving because we played Philly, Boston all the time, sleep in my bed, eat the food, sleep in my bed, and go out there and whip my butt. You understand? And my mother would say, "No, Will, we shouldn't feed Bill so well the next time." You know, whatever. But yeah, well, okay, you're right now. I'm gonna do something about that. You understand?
Let's start with your relationship with Bill Russell. You cold called him.
I did.
Why?
Well, I wanted to learn. I think that the most important thing that we can do when you want to learn is to actually pick up the phone and ask. And so I picked up the phone and I reached out to Bill Russell, and that began a great relationship of mentorship. And he had a lot of great stories to share with me, not just things on the court, but off the court. Especially in that time when he was playing, those two things could not be separated because one went with the other.
So how has your relationship with Bill Russell evolved since you made that initial call?
Well, I was getting ready for my jersey retirement ceremony, and my phone rings, and I pick it up, and it's Bill. And Bill says, I'm in the area. I would love to come. I said, I didn't even think that you would want to come to my retirement ceremony. He's like, I would love to be there for you. And so he came down, and he and I had a chance to spend some time together. And he's been a great mentor for me.
What have you learned from Bill Russell?
Wow. So tactically speaking, because I always geek out about the game. He said when I played, I could score the ball, I could handle the ball, and I could pass the ball. But it was really important in order for us to win. I had to look at my teammates and say, okay, there's other players here that do that better. Therefore, I must allow them to do that. And what I do best is defend and rebound. So I'm going to completely focus on that. Let 𝔾𝔼 handle the ball, right? Let Sam's be the shooter, 𝕉𝔼 be the shooter. And I thought that was a very, very insightful thing that I used in how I was able to go on and win those two championships post-Shaq.
What did you learn about leadership from Bill Russell?
Wow, one of the things he said is at the time he was dealing with a lot of racial issues in Boston. And stories, people throwing things at him during the game and yelling the craziest things from on the court. I said, well, how did you deal with it? He said, well, I internalized it. I felt like the best thing that I could do is use that as fuel as opposed to just simply having an emotional outburst to them. I decided to use that as energy to enhance my performance, right? So even though it seems as if he's tuning out the noise, he isn't. He's hearing it and he's using it.
No one would ever guess. I've asked people that question they ask, and none of them ever guess who I would take. And if you take a guess who you think I would take.
Of all time in the history
of
the
all
game?
the players in the history of the game.
Wilt?
No.
Russell?
You're right, Bill Russell. Bill Russell won 11, I think, 13 years championship every year. And the year he didn't win a championship, he was hurt. I mean, the guy was just incredible. And think about it, see, people look at the score, look at statistics, see.
Yeah.
And Russell's statistics wasn't that bad because nobody didn't take shots. He was shooting a high percentage because most of his shots were dunks inside the key. And the guy was incredible. I mean, the way he played, and people were just shocked. They said, Russell, and they'll just look at the stats and see the guy there with 12, 13 points a game.
Sure.
But look at the intangible things. Hey, he's going to save you 30, 40 points.
Bill Russell, he has been tremendous in getting us up for ball games. And Don, he's a little bit tougher than Red. And the redhead has always been tough.
Other than his animal intensity that he brought to the game, his speed and quickness in those days, I mean, it was like a man playing with boys.
Everybody was just afraid of Russell, including the guys who were shooting from outside when they wanted to go in and take a layup. They knew they were not going to get a layup, so they would stop short and take a jump shot. I mean, he just intimidated people.
Now, what I got to do now is come in here. Now, that is what is called intimidation.
Part of that reputation is based on psychic. As a player, when you challenge him, you think about the reputation and you have to automatically change your shot.
Fast break, West all alone. Look at Russell come down. And what a play by Russell!
We shut a guy down or block a guy's shot and say, yes, we did that to you. If you come back, we'll do it again. If you come back again, we'll do it another time. So you'll have to try something else to do. That won't work.
Less than a minute left in the game.
St. Louis got the ball at the foul line, made one pass up towards the sideline, the other foul line extended. Jack Coleman, who received the pass, took one dribble, was going out for a layup to win the game, the championship, and everything else.
Russ ran the 90 feet. He must have done it in 4 or 5 giant strides.
And Russell blocked the shot. He went by me. I was trying to get to this guy Coleman. He went by me like the Roadrunner. I mean, phew.
He just swooped, literally like Superman. He was the round peg that simply fit the round hole that we needed so desperately, both offensively and defensively. He gave new dimensions to what we were doing out there.
Russell used to become physically ill before every ball game. If we heard that he wasn't ill that particular night, Red Auerbach would stand up and say, Russ, go into the men's room and throw up, because that was the key, that Russell emotionally was into the ball game, and that's how much he gave of himself to win.
Shaq, if you had to name the starting center for that 60s team, and you're looking at Russell and Chamberlain and Bellamy, Willis Reed was playing for the Knicks back in the 60s?
Well, Wilt Chamberlain was indeed the most dominant player ever, but I was taught, from guys like Isaiah and guys like Mike, that it's all about the championships. So, Bill Russell has 11 championships. That will never, ever be matched again. I think the closest to that is Mike with 6. So I'll probably have to go with Bill Russell on that.
But I'm with Shaq. You go with winners because Bill Russell won so much, but when you start saying which would you start a team with, it's hard to go against the Big Dipper.
Well, who's your center? Is it Wilt or is it Bill?
I got to go Big Bill.
Yeah. Give me Bill here.
I'll go Bill.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Watch this.
4.5. Here's the only way I can settle that. Our center for the 60s is Bill Chamberlain.
Bill Russell allowed the rest of the world to know that if you're qualified to coach, you can coach. Without Bill Russell, I'm probably not coaching.
He is the original. All of the coaches you see in professional sports, all of them stand on the shoulders of Bill Russell.
It's no way to say ever.
He said ever.
That's just crazy. And whoever agrees with him on ever, you don't know basketball. I just like reminding people some names.
Yes.
Bill Russell.
Mm.
Yeah. Like I just feel like I had a big glove with some baby powder and just go smack everybody in the world and say, you ain't say Bill Russell?
Make up the defensive side of the ball. I think I'm great in every facet that makes up that side of the ball. And so I think I'm the best defender to ever play in the NBA. And I stand by that. I'll put myself up.
The reason why I have great deal of respect for this man was because, you see, as I played out there, I played against some of those guys who want to hurt you or want to try to see if they can do wrong things. And I respected the fact that he used a skill level to combat me. And that was the way the game was supposed to be played. I mean, they had some big old boys on this team who would come out to do some different other things. They had a pretty nasty team at times just then. But I
There was no action.
Yeah, no action, right. Yeah. But I want to play basketball as the way Naismith really invented the game to be played.
Actually, it was better than he envisioned.
Probably you're right.